Hey everybody, it's Magic Matt 87 checking in with you guys. And what I wanted to go over and introduce some things is about my raw experience with the show, my participation, my leading up to the show, all these things that generally could be a big deal to somebody who has literally no experience at all, which I have a little bit of both, but this was my first raw experience. So what I'm gonna get into is I kind of try to map out some things. So when I first heard about raw, I was just doing my daily things, and next thing I know, get an email and they're like, "Oh, we like your art, your tattoos. It looks like you'd be a great fit." And I'm excited. Never had an email sent to me like this yet. And so I get, it's like a chain reaction with the emails. You react, they send more information. You react, they send more information, and it goes on and on like that. And so I got contacted by at least 2 or 3 different representatives leading up through the process over a week or 2. I had an obligation of 20 ticket sales. That was what it cost to get in the show. If I didn't meet those ticket sales, I had to cover whatever expense on my end, which I ended up having to cover some expenses on my end. But so, the information that they gave was super cool because they were, responsive. It wasn't 2 or 3 days. It was, next day, that day. Any questions I had, they answered, and I enjoyed it. It was a little pressuring because I didn't really get the way they released their information, and it made you seem time sensitive and pressured. I made my amateur mistake. I missed a phone conference, freaked out thinking, oh my god, I missed a part of the show. And after the phone conference, they released a little bit. They had another phone conference. And so, if you've never been a part of Raw, it can get complicated. Alright? It can get emotional. You might... But just know that it's going to work out, right? So, pre-show, I took my daughter to a walkthrough. It is what it is. All the venues are different. We were at the Baltimore Soundstage. And the lady was very informal, and all of the people that were there were nice. And it was a little put off at first because nobody was really interacting until the director got everybody interacting, and whatnot. But everybody ended up, getting their spots and, answering all their questions. Question and answers. Nobody walked away with a question that I didn't think was answered the right way. And then, so the day of the show, they have you show up 5 hours before the show starts. 5 hours. Which I get it. There's a certain amount of things that has to happen in a certain sequence, right? So if I wanted to pick it apart, there's not really nothing that you could do with production and it being part of the time frame. So that, I had no quabbles with any of those things. It was pretty, up until the point of the show, it was, I never had that part of an organization before, so it was confusing. I had worked shows before. See, here's where it kind of comes into play. And I waited, and it was a choice me and my wife made we wanted to wait until and give everybody an opportunity to support before we bought tickets. Hindsight being 2020, I should have bought the tickets, and then once I bought my part, anything excess tickets, I'd have got $10 kickback, right, after the 20. So it's like there's a numbers game. It's just a way of figuring out, mapping these things out. There are gains and returns. You just have to be a part of it to understand it and to get the experience to fully understand it. So the show was nice. Everybody showed up to show out, mind you. Everybody was there and they were ready to rock, and it was a great show. The downside for me being a tattoo artist and a visual artist, I got to be able to interact with people, and I got unfortunately placed by the stage, which was a good spot. I didn't really have to fight to see anything. The music was good. I didn't have, that's part of, but I'm there to showcase myself. I'm there to participate and support the other people there, but you're still there as a business and a brand to make money. So if you're not making any money, or you can't get the people to come in to spend their money, you're standing around and you wasted your money, essentially. If nobody's spending money and you spent money to get into a show to be a part of it, you're not really making any financial gain. So let's talk about financial gain, and let's talk about representation of your brand. Sometimes it costs, right, just to market. I wasn't in it so much for financial gain. Now, if it showed up and showed out and the papers came rolling in, I wasn't gonna argue with it. But I didn't go to the show expecting to walk away with $1,000, $1,500. I walked away with $50. Spent that plus a couple extra dollars with other artists. I did not go expecting to make a bunch of money. I knew it from other shows. You never know. It's luck of the draw. One person might walk in and they might buy 10 things. You might sell 10 small things, or you might not sell nothing at all. That's the part of the show. All right, on to another point. Let's talk about production. What I heard from a lot of other people who had YouTube viewer reviews is that they did not like the fact that they didn't make any money. They didn't like the fact that they had to sell all the tickets and they had to do all the footwork. But let me tell you guys something about big business. Big business isn't like pennies on the dollar like a pawn shop. It probably cost them, I'm sure they made a big chunk, but I'm not sure what the Baltimore Soundstage costs to rent out for an entire evening, right? I'm not sure what it costs to rent out the Fillmore for an entire evening. But you gotta cost that permits, staffing, all these other things. They're global, right? Australia, Mexico, the United States. They have a catalog of 100,000 plus artists. The show venue just to participate is $500. People don't like that. They're like, oh my God, one night, 4 hours for $500? Now I can get a booth at a tattoo show for a weekend for a little bit more than that at a good show, right? And make good money just promoting myself. There's a difference in the industries, I get it, but you have to understand where the level of the industry is. Raw's in a different level than some of these we would call these craft shows. They're art expos, but they're more crafty, kind of. Raw had a crafty vibe to it, don't get me wrong, but don't sell yourself short, because you're now involved in it and there's a potential to just keep building, and that's the way I'm looking at it. I did a nice piece. I did have a lot of supporters. I did not get a lot of financial gain. But if you're not looking for a financial gain and you're looking to market yourself, I would definitely say go with Raw and just enjoy the experience and don't stress out. Just know that it's going to be a good time. You're going to shake hands with a lot of people and you're going to give a lot of business cards out. And people are going to ask you a bunch of questions because you're the one standing behind the table. I appreciate everybody. I would appreciate it if everybody could, give me a follow, subscribe. Any of my social medias, I'm gonna put links below, and I appreciate everybody. Thank you for your support.